Hello, everybody, and welcome to Survivor Now's Season 50 Aftershow. Coming hot off the press with a 3-hour premiere. So much to get into. My name's Josh. I'm here facilitating the conversation tonight. Really excited to get into all of this. And with me tonight is from Season 41, Abraham. How are you doing, Abraham?
Season 41. We started off this new era, man. This is Season 50, man. This is amazing.
Nice. Yes, you started all now. Yeah, it does feel kind of like a culmination of new. We started off with the whole journey thing, the beginning of your season. Now 5 years later, yeah, a lot has happened since that first episode of the new era. So, also with us tonight is from season 44 and 45. We got Bruce. How are you doing, Bruce?
Man, listen. Okay, so I'm feeling great. We started off with a bang. We ended with a bang, and it's just like, there are so many things that go on that, just kind of, or it's a gut punch, or it's a reality check, or it's just jubilation. So I'm happy to get into it. One thing I do want to do to my brother Kyle, there's a shot for you, brother. I wish you the best of all luck, and here's to you.
Yeah, Bruce, this is a double whammy for you. With not only is Kyle a premier evacuee like you, but he also he was on your draft team.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
got drop kick. What? No, I sat there and I literally looked at, I'm watching what's going on this side and the other. As soon as he hurt himself, I know we'll get into it. I said to my son, like, Achilles.
Yep.
I heard it on TV.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, and anybody that gets evacuated, anybody that gets, they stop the challenge. And it's not to talk about and bring it to me, but it's just one of those things it follows something that happened with my season with 44,
Yeah.
Hurt, medevaced out, directly, pretty soon thereafter. It just goes to show how real this game is. And look at his face. He didn't want to leave. What can I do to see him? Or you're trying to tell me he's going to be what? The damages that just, could give him a limp for the rest of his life. He even contemplated staying with that.
Yeah.
So it's like, these are the people that need to be playing Survivor. The experienced people, I understand that, I got you, but these are the people that need to play Survivor because they're given all that they have to be able to play the game that they love. So that's my.
I told my Achilles before, so he wasn't gonna play. That was it. Man.
Yeah. I was a little secondhand for me at my bachelor party. My best buddy from college, he tore his Achilles, and it was brutal. Something you saw pretty much right away what it was, and the recovery for it is awful. It's not something that you want to be playing Survivor with. Maybe if it happened on day 23, day 24, you could power through for 2 days, but day 4, there's no way.
No,
there's no way.
You can still hop around, but you can't. He's
all the team challenges. Yeah, there was no way.
Josh J 25. Oh yeah, he could have got through it, but
yeah, I mean, they did that before, with Missy San Juan del Sur. She broke her ankle, I think, and but there was 4 days left, and so she
like James Clement when he did it with his knee, when he blew his knee out,
Yeah, he made it a couple more days. He made it a couple more days before they ultimately voted him off. Early in the game, it's just tough. Anyway. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but man, but Bruce, you nailed it when you said started with a bang, ended with a bang. The whole opening mantra. Opening montage mantra. The opening montage of everything, they kind of went backwards in time and then they went forwards in time. So starting at May 31st, 2000 with the premiere. That was awesome. That was a really, really cool flashback. What did you guys think about that?
My wife turned her head, looked at me. She's like, 2000. I was like, yeah.
What's crazy, Bruce?
I was only home from the military for, at that point in time, maybe 7 months. I was a baby.
2000. I was in Japan. I was stationed in Japan by that time.
But 2000, to put in, I was 8 years old.
Shut up.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Hey, listen, we're all grown ups now. So.
Man, but it's also surreal to be out there and looking at that montage, and then getting to your season and be like, oh, I was a part of this as well. So it's different. The perspective is different because you're rooting on these players, and you're like, oh shit, I'm a player too.
Yeah.
And 50, and it's a franchise. I think just said what 751 players.
751. Yep.
So be a part of this family it's amazing. It's crazy, and it's a season 50. So I nice kickoff. I'll give them that. They kicked it off right.
Was there anything?
I'm gonna take something. I'm gonna take something real quick from this because they had that montage going on, and I was in it because I gave Emily a hug when she had won that the challenge to be able to go out and go to the sanctuary. And my big fat ass head was over there. I'm like,
yeah, I was looking for me.
I was wondering if you guys like saw anything like significant from your seasons. There was so much happening so fast. So I did not. Sorry, Bruce, I did not catch you in there, but I'm sure I'll catch you on the rewatch.
I'm looking at it again.
Be a big head.
See, when they do that sort of thing, I look at more for like the random deep cuts. And so one of the things they had, well, a super random one is Survivor Fiji, like Lisi falling flat on her face, like just running off of a platform for a non-physical challenge. That was really funny. And then they had Will from Worlds Apart, like sliding head first like a dead fish down like the slide thing. Yeah. My wife asked me when we were watching that, like, who is that? I'm like, oh, this guy who was, didn't go too well for him. But I know that was like a really popular GIF back in the day. So there were some fun deep cuts in there.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, we get to go through the whole opening montage, which is really cool. I'm glad that they kicked off this like anniversary monumental season with like a throwback to where it all began and so many like fun things we've seen along the way. Obviously they could have gone on and on and on with that because you have 25 years worth of content that you could have included, but I think that was really fun. It got me excited.
But then when they lined them up to say before they passed out into who tribes, it was like, okay, the different people that spoke from different eras of Survivor just was a nice little touch to the beginning. He didn't just jump right into the season, talking to Coach, talking to Kobe, talking to Ozzy, Sharif, give everybody an opportunity to say, oh, hey, this is how all this started. It started with a lot of the players from season 1.
Yeah.
And Jonathan yelling out, Mr. Jeff.
Mr. Jeff. We knew that was coming. That was definitely on your season.
That was awesome.
Card for sure.
That was awesome. But and also with that opening, monologue and everything like that, and taking a look and seeing, kind of something that I suspected. They had spoken to Jenna, and season 1, blah blah blah, and everybody's like, "Rah!" And Savannah from 49, she's like, yeah, it's for 49. And she said, yeah. And everyone's like,
yes.
No shade on her. I just thought it was funny. It's something I picked up on, and it kind of is what it is. But it was hilarious.
That was funny because the knowing like in the pre-show how many people were like not excited about Rizzo and Savannah being there just because they're just unknown entities and people are like, oh, they could be here for anything. We don't know anything about them. I don't trust them. But also the fact that, Jenna, who played the very first season 25 years prior and hadn't played at all in 21 years, is coming back. And then you have Rizzo and Savannah, who just finished like 2 weeks ago. So just the huge spectrum in, it's like, oh, you guys were just here. That's not really that special. That's how everybody else seemed to be looking at it, but it was funny.
Yeah.
What else from that opening like Matt chat stood out to you guys?
I thought they start, like I don't know about how Bruce when we started sizing up our competitors as we before we started playing the game. I know we did ours in the airport, so we were masked up. They transitioned everybody from LA over to the airport, and it was the first time you saw all 18 castaways. Because up until then, you didn't know who was in LA. Then we got carted off on the plane, and then we got separated by the hotel rooms. So for me, I'm like, if I'm a player at that time, I'm looking at, okay, where's my competition at? Oh, that's Q down there. Oh, okay. We got Ozzy down there. Oh, okay, we got Coach. Oh, Kobe's down there. So at that point, for me, it was like, okay, who's here? Who's playing? And who might be a challenge for me? So I'm thinking they're doing the same thing. Who might be that challenge?
My sizing up started literally when I got to the hotel in LA, and I'm sitting there, and who did I see? I saw Austin. And I'm like, okay, he's definitely something that's on the tribe. And then the next
morning, did you go to LA for your interviews and stuff like that? So y'all saw each other beforehand?
Like no, they did. A couple of them did. My casting was streamlined because it was my whatever had gone on. But then at breakfast the next morning, like I was able to see people. But even when it was for 44. For 44, I'm downstairs and I'm in the I'm in the Starbucks and I'm in line and you got to use a different name. I'll never forget this. I literally, I go up and I'm like, yeah, Alan, blah, 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 'cause my middle name's Alan. So I don't want people to know any of blah, blah, blah. And then the lady like literally is like 2 minutes later, Alan, and she's like, your name doesn't match your room. And I was like, shut. And I walked around into the thing and I'm like, yo, quiet. Like, seriously, like, you can't, like, my name's Bruce, but I go by Alan. And she's like, oh, okay. And then Claire was there. Claire saw that. And Claire was funny. Like, all right, So but she clocked me at that point in time, but whatever. So, but yeah, you start sizing people up from the moment that you get off the plane. You size people up when you're in your own airport. When you're leaving your own airport, like, oh, who from here? Like,
oh, and that's all they were doing the whole time in the pre-show before they left while they're there. Yeah. But when we finally get to the opening match chat and they're there talking, Jeff's asking them all questions. Like, was there any standout intros from anybody for you guys?
I mean, it's different because these are returning players. Usually in the game of Survivor, what happens is we get this first scenes here. And we started to develop the connections with players that we like, okay, I would love to see them play, or I want to see them win, or they say something that connects with us. Well, for me and Bruce, we've met most of those players already. So we already know, hey, okay, I know Kyle is going to look at it like this. We looking at, is Q going to self-destruct on the first series or the second series? So, but we've met the players. So it's for us, I don't want to speak for Bruce, but it's different because now I met Jonathan and it's like, okay, Jonathan, I know his size. So his size is not something that's in the back of my mind. I want to see how he's going to play, So, but Kobe, he's unknown to me. I've never met Kobe, never met Coach. So, but these are unknown players. But Cherie, I met Cherie in New York. And it's like, okay, I already know who that person is. Now I want to see how this all is going to mesh together in 50 and how they're going to play differently.
Yeah.
The only thing that stood out to me was and I've never met him. I would love to meet him because I do have respect for him, but his shit was corny tonight. Rick Devens. He was trying too hard to be like a little. He was trying a little too hard. Yes. So that hit me. I was just like, Rick, man, shut up.
Yeah.
Hey. With all due respect, though, I do appreciate that he's on 50. He's on my television screen. But it was like when he was talking, I'm like, I understand you're trying to get the laugh, but stop.
He was my audition tape. He was the one they sent me to prepare to do my long audition tape.
Really?
I was like, okay, this Rick Devens. I looked at his tape. I was like, oh, okay, he's a news guy. But yeah, it's a different Rick Devens. Let's put it there. I know he's older, but he comes across like he was hungry back then. I need to see if he's going to be hungry now because he was hungry.
Like second time players. These are all second time players, so they're like they know what they need to do to try to win. They know what they need to do. When you're a first time player and you go out there, your inhibitions.
Oh yeah,
you don't have any. I'm sorry, you have a ton of inhibitions. When you're playing the second time, you have none. It's like you just go out there and it's like, okay, yep, I'm good. I know what my talking points are. When you first go out there, you don't know what they are, so you're so skittish about what it is you're going to say. You even see it in tribal council. Even this last the tribal council that we saw today, not to skip ahead, I'm like, yo, like these gloves are off. Like they don't give it. They just whatever's on their mind, they let out.
Let me tell you who the best one is. Mike White. Mike White said, I just want to have a good time.
Yeah, saying there that's so real. How he was like, yeah, I'd have FOMO. I don't want to just hear about this from Christian and Angelina in a month. Like, I want to be here for a month. Yeah. And that's funny that he's that was his whole perspective. We also saw right away off the bat that the two results of the fan votes. One is rice or no rice. One was supplies or no supplies. Fans voted no rice, no supplies. The no rice one was pretty close margin. He said 53%, 47%. As players who played in the no rice era, what's your guys' take on that?
Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, you just came from Ponderosa. Y'all had breakfast. Stop playing.
But like, that breakfast isn't going to last you 26 days.
But here's the thing about it is the island has coconuts on and you can drink water. I don't care if you get rice. I don't want you to get rice. It's Survivor. If you take the name Survivor out of it, then give them some rice. But as long as the name Survivor is in the title, you got to work for that rice. So I'm good with them having to work for everything. And especially with just 26 days. You don't get to, because you're literally coming from Ponderosa, getting up, going through some promotional stuff to the challenge. Okay, that's it. You're still good. Then on the island, you got coconut, you got water. Make it work. I can see if they didn't have anything.
You got papaya, you got breadfruit.
Yeah, depending on what island you're on, you got that. But
so coming from two people who played on those literal islands, you're saying it's not that big a deal. You're fine.
No, well, my viewpoint is that like I was talking next to a friend of mine today, and he was like, what kind of saucy Jeff is going to show up? He's going to show up, stab a bag of rice. Like, what's he going to do? And then I was like, when he stabbed that bag of rice, if you go back and watch, I didn't even move. I didn't flinch. I didn't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I was like, I'm not here for rice. I'm here to be able to play the game that I love and excel as much as humanly possible and thrive off the land that's there. So was it a ton of coconuts like Abraham said? Yes. Ton of water? Yes, it was. And every now and again, like when you, depending on the island you're on, you get breadfruit, you get papaya, you get pawpaw, like you get like something. Like, there's some kind of thing that's there, or you catch crabs. Like, we caught crabs.
Oh, yeah, we had crabs the first night. We caught second
every day we caught them. So the rice thing, I was like, nah, they're not gonna. Don't give them rice. It's 26 days. Like on Australian Survivor, they're giving them rice and beans right now because it's 45 days long. Like they got to.
Well, yeah, but I looked at episode 1 and 2. They went to the shop and all kind of crazies.
And in Australia, like laws, I think you have to.
Yeah, you got to feed them.
You have to feed them more.
And you got to give them a bathroom too. They don't have T1, T2.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so you guys are saying as former players, like, yeah, no rice. Okay, no different question then. As a fan, do you think it makes that much of a difference whether or not they have rice? As a fan,
that's a difference. As a fan, I want some rice. I'm hungry. I'm hungry from the start. I need some rice. I need more nutrition because I don't know what's out there. As a fan, I don't know what else is out there. As a player, I know what's out there. So I will be more inclined to giving them, or at least giving one tribe rice, not all three of them.
But like that wasn't the question. It was like, do the players get rice or do they not get rice? I personally voted give them rice because I think that watching it, I believe you guys that like, what you're saying about the food situation while you're there. But I think while you're watching it, I think whether or not they have rice is like, it does have an impact on the viewing experience for sure. But I don't think it's like significant enough. I don't know.
Let me ask you something, John.
I personally think just give them the rice. Yeah, I do.
You got a rice cooker, don't you?
I do.
Have you ever cooked rice in a metal pot?
I have not.
Okay.
Not over an open fire either. No.
That's something got rust in it.
They gonna stick to the bottom. Yeah. What you gonna stir it with?
So I no matter what, I would say no rice. And the only reason why I would give anybody rice is if it's a longer period of time and because to help them keep their wits about themselves. I don't mind watching the generation of people's they're losing weight. Their cognitive impairment is going away. Like it's a part of the game. And if you see that's happening, if you feel that's happening, what do? You have to go out there and be like, my mind's not right now because I'm so hungry. I got to try and find something to eat. Like we almost ate these things that look like pea pods and they took them away from us and said, yo, no, these will give you diarrhea and whatever. So we were like, literally like, so like you just wanted to eat them. So I'm a big fan of them not having rice because of the short period of time in the game right now. But they have other things to be able to eat. Like I saw them today. Like today I was like, did they boil their coconuts? Like we didn't boil.
I don't know what they did. They was doing. They pulled it from somewhere, but
they boiled them.
Like, we dropped those on the dirt. We literally Tiffany dropped it in the dirt. Washed it off with a little bit of water and we ate it. We wasn't trying to do all that. And that cast iron steel pot is heavy.
Yeah.
If you accidentally drop that thing on your foot, oh, it's gonna hurt.
Night to your big toe.
Yes. Hey, look.
All right. Well, also wanted to shout out those of you who are here in the chat. Kimberly says, "Sup nerds, took PTO tomorrow, so I'm here." It is a late one. 3-hour premiere. 3-hour premiere is no joke. Eastern time, it's 11:20 p.m. So thank you to those of you who are choosing to spend your time hanging with us. Yeah, feel free to go off in the chat. We are keeping an eye on that.
Listen, I'd like to see that because I don't think I've seen Kim's name before. Thank you very much, Kim. If you're new, I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
I think we've seen her before.
I've never seen it, so she's new to me. So
all right, sounds good.
It's on the big screen. I don't even know.
All right, so okay, so opening challenge, because fans voted for no supplies. The opening challenge was just for Flint. Is that right? They were literally just competing for Flint.
No, it was for the pot. It was for the pot, machete.
One try. Machete, we're going back, and we're gonna have the fire. The fire is going to be at their.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which I didn't really see the significance in a barn fire, but okay.
Okay, yeah. So opening challenge though, just for fire. So like, what did you guys think about that opening challenge? Any takeaways from that?
Here's the thing. While Bruce sits there and ponder, we didn't get an opportunity for our open challenge to be able to strategize. You don't see it on TV, but we never talked to each other on the opening challenge. We just had to go do it. That's why we all went in different directions. That's why we didn't have a game plan, because we all kind of said move forward. Long story short. So when you're doing and they got a chance to strategize, you got to see who can do what. And I'll give credit where credit is due. They picked the right people to kick it off, because they were able to get up under there, and then but these challenges were close. These wasn't like blown out the box challenges.
Yeah. I agree. The opening challenge that was fun to watch. You sent someone like a Savannah through, like the smaller people ended up going through. Who went through for
Savannah, Stephanie, and Camilla?
Stephanie, that's who it was.
Yeah,
Stephanie
she crushed it.
So, yeah. So you're looking at, and then Jeff brought up the basically saying her age. She's the oldest one of the three that are doing it without saying it. But yeah, no, I thought it was good, and there was no real equalizer, because they were all really very, very close when they were doing that thing. Like Jonathan sitting out there looking like George Washington, just pulling a rope in the front of that boat. Like that was cool. Air flowing in the wind. Like good for him. But it's just they did the things that they needed to do to keep it close and competitive. I thought that they maybe should have spaced it out a little bit further so that they actually had to run a ton. But we take what we can get, because that beach was small. We're gonna
circle back around to some short. They had some. When we get to one of these other challenges, they had a couple of short things that wasn't as long as they were in previous challenges, and I was like, why was it so short?
Yeah,
but
what's that about that?
Yeah, okay, so we see that I don't know the tribe names yet, but the pink tribe, like they win the reward challenge, so they get the Flint. They get Rizzo and Genevieve at the end. They get the bag down, and
Rizzo,
they celebrate.
Back that up too.
I know. I was nervous. I'm like, really? You want? I mean, this doesn't go. None of them watched season 49, so they knew not to put. They don't know to not put him in a clutch position, but they pulled it off. Good shout out to Genevieve for making that happen. So yes, they win, but then they immediately need to go for the fight for supplies. And we see Coach, Ozzy, and Q all go. And the Coach and Ozzy rivalry, like, kind of got a lot of screen time tonight. What do you guys? Yeah. What are you guys? Was that a surprise to you guys?
I was actually, when I saw them talking when they walked up on the beach, and Coach was like, I thoroughly apologize. Like I should have, done X, Y, and Z, and and then Ozzy was like, I should have, fought more for you. I was a proponent in you not getting any votes, or the votes you should have received to win. You should have won the season. I thought that was actually kind of cool. It was a little bit of like a redemption type thing, like kind of make things whole. And then that lasted about 5 minutes, because then it was like, you some bitch, like, you gonna cut me off, you're gonna take that. That's how you gonna play the game. There's no honor in that. So it's kind of like talking out one side of your face to make the other side happy. But it gave me what I want to see in this game. It gave me emotion. Like it gave like I literally have a hard time watching this show without any given point in time when my wife turns and looks at me. She's like, "Are you tearing up?" And I'm like, "No, shut up." And I'm like, "Man," because it happens. It happens. Like I see parts of like the beaches that they're on, and I was there too, and and I feel what people are talking about, and with that scenario, that was like any redemption that someone's trying to have in this, and it is definitely warranted. It's valid.
I'll say, Bruce, they carried a little bit of baggage into the season.
Hell yeah, everybody did. Well,
it seems like they hadn't talked in 15 years, which I guess that makes sense why they had no reason to.
Even when we talk to Rupert,
they get straight into it, bringing up the finale. I did not think that we'd get a throwback to a scene from South Pacific.
Right?
There was so much talking about it, and then Ozzy saying, "Oh, coach, you should have won." Like,
he didn't think
the hatchet. I want to start fresh.
No, he didn't. If you go back to South Pacific, the reason why Ozzy said he shouldn't have won is the same reason when he did what he did in this one. He said he's an honorable player. Yeah. He wanted to be that honorable player. And as soon as the opportunity presented itself, what did he do?
Yeah.
So
that's true. And that's the thing. I think there's so much about like, how do you present yourself in a, honor, integrity, upright kind of way? Because then when you ultimately do snake someone, which, coach, he said this time, Ozzy, he didn't like verbally agree to Ozzy's plan at the end of the challenge, but still, like when you present yourself and brand yourself in one way and then go and do the other, it hurts more than if you were to never promise to do the other thing, right? Like if you never like say that you're going to be someone playing all honorably and integrity, but and then you go and do what coach did.
You're
not going to get mad about it.
It was almost like Q wasn't even there. He wasn't even in this episode because
I know. It was like Q had a front row seat to watching some like 15-year-old drama play out, and just keep it all to himself.
Yeah, so. It was even when they edited, I was like, well, where's Q at? Is he even building anything on this side?
I know. For one of the biggest personalities that we've seen in recent years, he was definitely taking a major back seat to these two guys hashing out.
He got edited out.
Yeah, and let's back up just a tad bit from this. Actually, I'm sorry. Would it be backing up? I think it'd be like the next scene, if you will. They're talking, Kobe's sitting there talking about Rizzo.
Yeah,
and,
I thought that was after.
That's after. That's after when they get back to camp. Yeah,
that's after.
So, but to go back to the whole thing as well that I'm looking at, and you got Q sitting there. He's the third wheel of this date. And it's a back and forth, and Q gets a little bit of a soundbite, but Q did do something. He did try to get that damn key. Like it wasn't like he wasn't being a slouch. He wasn't just sitting there being a complete bystander. But lo and behold, he ends up losing out. Coach gets it, and here we are. Like those you got Ozzy and Q sitting on Exile Island, and I'm just I was happy as hell. Not to skip too far forward, happy as hell to see that Exile Island would basically stop there. I kind
of like that twist. I kind of like the fact that
I didn't want to see Jenna go to Exile Island. I did not want to see that at all.
No, I'm saying I like the twist that they were putting on Exile immediately. They were on Exile Island. It's like, okay, because now you're prepared to go back and strategize, get to know your new tribe, and do all that. It needs to be done on that first day. So I kind of like them adding in where they put it in. Now, if they throw it back in there again, I'll be like, But with putting it where it was at, to me, I was like, oh, this is great. Now you got to either strategize with the person that you with and say, hey, we make it to the merge. Guess what? And I think Ozzy might have played his best start to the game of Survivor because of Exile Island. Because he gets to leave with
an extra vote. Yeah, he does. I think that there's so much talk in the new era about how much it sucks to miss the first few hours, but to miss the whole first day, that is pretty brutal. I mean, Ozzy, we see that Ozzy did scrape by in Tribal Council, but it's definitely not looking too hot, at least in the first couple days from what they've shown us so far. Yeah. But what did you guys think about the twist where between Q and Ozzy, like one of you is going to go back with supplies but no vote, the other's going back with no supplies but an extra vote? You guys like that twist?
trying to see where was that with the fan vote, because I don't even remember that being a.
That was not part of the fan vote. Although maybe I don't know. When Savannah got her advantage later on, they said they vote for like quote unquote dynamic twists, which that doesn't really mean anything to me. I think the way that it was phrased by production, like minimal, strategic, or dynamic, I think were the three options. Production, though, that's like vague enough that production can still kind of do whatever they want with it. To me, if you know, so that doesn't really mean as much to me. But that was a new advantage or a new twist, I guess. We haven't seen that happen before. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah,
what do you take? Do you take the supplies with no vote, or do you take the vote with no supplies?
I would take the vote with no supplies.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no supplies.
And then, but my reasoning behind that would be that I would not necessarily lie in regards to what happened. I would definitely talk about like what they already did. You know, coach got the key, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. With that, I lost my vote. That's how I would have phrased it. And it is what it is. Like, you're coming back, and you know, someone like Ozzy and someone like Q, they have big enough personalities that they're going to help out and they're going to get them, you know, to where they need to be, to not be the focus. But it's kind of the route that I would take. The unfortunate part is that you're so early in the game. I know that when I went out and I was, you know, I went to do I went on my journey, and it was so early in the game, I did not want to lose my vote at all. And lo and behold, I never needed to use it. Never needed to use my vote because we never went to tribal. But for the case in point, if we did, I would have made sure that I still had the ability to vote at that point in time, whether I had an idol or not.
I think it was an interesting twist. I enjoyed the option where they had to make a decision, and that decision came at the boat person giving them, oh, here's what you're gonna have to do. And they said, hey, Ozzy was like, well, I'd rather just not bring a pot and a machete back, and then get this extra vote. I think the extra vote was way more important than the pot and pan.
Yeah.
I mean, the machete and the thing. So I think Ozzy played the best out of that situation, where Q, he gets to come back and look like a superstar, but he also got currency. So he gets the pot, he gets the machete, he gets the flint, he comes back. So he doesn't have to lie about anything. He's like, okay, I won this. So nobody knows he lost his vote. He goes straight to Kyle and says, hey, I got this stuff, but I lost my vote. To me, that's currency in Survivor. Because I always say play it in two halves. The first half of Survivor is all about trying to get to the merge. It's not about saying how many throats you can cut or whatever. It's how do you get to the merge? And Q, to me, has set itself up to get to the merge because Kyle, Genevieve, Stephanie, and Kobe all said, hey, we're working together. So basically, Q walked into a great situation. But I think Kyle is the buffer for Q. So I gotta see how that plays out now, because Kyle would have been that manager for that situation right there. So I like that first hour just had enough of a lot of different things that kind of all meshed together to be like, oh, okay, now they doing some things. But I will say this right here: stop blaming stuff on the fans, because I was like, I don't know, I wouldn't even, as a fan, I wouldn't even want to see that. But I think everything kind of flowed in the first hour.
Yeah.
Then we get up to Kobe. And Kobe said what we was already thinking. That Rizzo kid is annoying. So I was like, man, come on, Kobe. Not in the first hour.
I feel like that is just like what we expected of Colby. That's like 50-year-old guy coming out and seeing Rizzo with all of his, you know, like Gen Z lingo, and Colby just saying that Rizzo's annoying as hell. And then later on, they had this redemptive, like very cute moment that, you know, he turned the page on him. But that the first impression and Colby just being so blunt about it was really funny and kind of exactly.
I will say this: Emily had said, "Let's get the shelter going." Like Emily said that because she has an old soul, and I love that. You look at Colby, he's like, let's get the shelter going, get the fire going, blah, blah, blah. And then the tribe gets together and they start doing their thing. And you got Rizzo who's sitting there like, So that's exactly what happens. And there's no shade in regards to it. It's just, this is just an observation that is true. It's the younger players tend to not want to do a shelter. They tend to not want to care about fire. It's just, this is what is shown. Like I remember we got together with our merge and we were already in the game. We know how valuable it is to have some kind of shelter from the rain. And we're all standing around and I'm like, yo, like we got to make this shelter bigger because look. And I turn and I point across the water. There's literally a rain cloud coming across the water towards us. And within 5 minutes, it is downpouring. So all the people that are sitting around not getting stuff to make the shelter bigger are doing what? They're talking underneath the shelter that was already existing. So
Season 41, I was doing the rain dance back at Ponderosa. Man, it was thunder and lightning. I was like, bring it on. Bring it on. I will say this. Emily is, and I met Emily a few times. She's the nicest person you ever want to meet.
Yeah.
Her character and how it's played on Survivor is, to me, is different when you meet her in person. She's really nice in person because she was, even her confessional, she was like, hey, I didn't know how I was going to be perceived in season 50. But this also is a mixture of different types of players. And just as much as Emily played in 45, these players haven't played in 10 or 15 years. They're just as geeked to be back out there playing and try to relish this experience as well as you are. So it's an odd mix because I know we was all saying, how is this going to look when they start this season 50 off? Basically, the choices were made. I think, and I'm only gonna give it a nod on episode 1. Mike White is hilarious.
He is funny.
I was not.
He seems to be having the time of his life.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how he was gonna fit. And a few of the cast was like, how are they gonna fit? Why'd you pick them? Mike said, I just want to have a good time. Hey, man, no, what? If you get on my nerves, that's how I'm gonna vote you out. I said, okay, Mike. Mike is chilling.
If you're disturbing his peace, if you're making it so he's not having fun, then he's gonna want to vote you out. And I am 110% all about that.
What do you tell D? Hey, tell Granddad how to keep his teeth white. Oh, those your teeth?
So yeah, that's right. So those your teeth? And she's like, no. Like, he just walks away. And then somebody
fits.
What was the other thing he said? He said something else. He's about her teeth and somebody about Granddad, like, if I start, I don't know. I can't remember what it is. But he said something else hilarious.
And I love it. And I didn't think I was going to like it. I ain't going to lie, Mike White. I don't care what you do for a living. I wanted to see because you come out here and replicate what you did the first time. But he is going to be hilarious because he's like, man, I just want to have some fun.
I don't give a damn. Yep.
Yeah. Can't take yourself too serious.
Yes, that was fun. Another interesting segment going on in those early days is that though on the Orange Tribe, we saw pretty much immediately Jenna like coming out guns blazing, going for Suri, which she said she was going to in her pre-show interview. She was just like, "Oh yeah, Suri's, I want her gone day one. She's such a huge threat." Blah blah blah. And again, that is on par with how Jenna played last time in All Stars. She came out guns blazing, grabbed the game by its horns, and it worked really well. But the thing is, that was 21 years ago, and a lot of people, the game has changed a lot since then. And coming out all hot like that is, especially against somebody like Suri, is oh man. As soon as I heard that in the pre-show stuff, I'm like, that's not going to end well for her. And but yeah, she wasted no time.
I mean, here's my thoughts. One, she could have just kind of sat back because it wasn't the fact that she targeted Sheree. It was more how she did it.
Yeah.
Just, hey, let's get it. Oh, no, let's day one. Who I was surprised about is Joe's perception of how he was treated in his season and how he wanted to come into this season. So that was kind of interesting because I met Joe too in person. Nicest guy you ever want to meet. But I was like, I had never heard that side of Joe on how he felt like he was treated. And we all take baggage from our season. So that's nothing new. But it's interesting. Now we get to see and hear some of the baggage that the non-winners have about the game and what would transpire between some of the players that are with them now. So it was, I think Jenna if she was a little less aggressive and let somebody else point the finger, you could have took out one of the winners of Survivor versus taking out Sheree. You could, I know Jonathan threw D name out there immediately.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, D gotta go.
Yeah. there's a case to be made on her tribe against a lot of people, against Rick Devens.
Oh, Savannah told her herself early.
Yeah, against there's a lot of people who they could have made a case against and kind of floated under the radar, but yeah, she definitely came on too strong, which is what we love about Jenna. But unfortunately, I knew that spelled doom for her pretty quickly.
And it's to Jenna's point, she even said it. She has a lot of respect for Cirie. She did not waver from the fact that Cirie has played multiple times. There's a 5th time playing U.S. Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And what didn't help was, the way that the challenge went with Cirie. She tried, and now mind you, Cirie, I love you. I just met you this past Saturday for the first time, and I'm still on cloud 9 every time I see you. Every time someone says something, I'm like, oh, shut up, that's my Cirie. But in regards to the gameplay, is Cirie a threat physically? No. Is she a threat socially? Exactly. That she is. If you look up social threat in the dictionary, there's Cirie's picture on the side of it. She is just that good. And I said it the other day, it's passed down to Jared. Jared's amazing. He's a great young man, and he talks and he makes you feel you feel like you're either his uncle or his best friend. But I think that with the way Jenna came out, and she came out so hard and so definitive, it's almost like going after a big name like Cirie. You got to have a second name. So you float you float Cirie, then you float the second name, and it's whichever one sticks at that point in time, you kind of run with.
Yeah.
But you set that seed in someone's head in regards to the Cirie, and then if you got to go with another person, you go with another person. But again, it's one of those scenarios. If you think back to 45, Emily, she with her mouth, she was almost voted out first, but Hannah quit. So the thing with Cirie now is that Cirie's she's gonna see where her downfall was, and I promise you, she will not be in a situation where she's got to do anything physical to help her team move forward. She will shy from that.
Here's the crazy part. Oh, here's the crazy part.
Go ahead.
We all strategize before each challenge.
Yeah.
How did Cirie get to that? Why would she put? Because if you go back and look,
that's what I wanted to ask you guys, because I was watching with my wife and a couple friends, and we were saying why was she on that? But I wasn't listening super closely when Jeff was explaining the rules of the challenge. But I feel for a lot of these challenges, there's a bunch of different things where 1 or 2 people need to play the hero for, even if it's just something small, you need to get all the coconuts out of the basket or whatever. But it seems like everyone needs to do something that's just them, or just them and one other person. Is that right?
That's what it seemed like to me. There were a lot of because there were a lot they did the aerial flyover, and I'm like, oh man, that is huge. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So they made it so multiple people had to do more.
Someone had to throw coconuts into the net. 2 people had to push the
Ozzy.
Yeah, people had to grab all the coconuts out of the basket. 2 people had to do the puzzle. So what I thought was that everybody needs to do something.
But
here's what they didn't put Cirie on the puzzle because they put Christian and Emily on the puzzle. So they put Cirie on that part, which I guess was maybe the next least physical, I think. That was my best guess.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They could have did it like Jonathan did. If you go back and look at it, Jonathan and Dee pushed the cage.
Yeah.
And that was
you're saying you could have put Cirie with Joe or someone.
Joe to push the cage.
Yeah.
Because we have to divide up. They say, okay, what section are you going to run of the relay? So Jonathan and Dee was on that. Jonathan did all the work on that one because that cage probably was heavy like anything else, but he could handle the physical part. So you only left now. Oh, Cirie, we got to put you on throwing because we strategize. We get to know who's going to do what. They
should have put it with the coconut drop because they're throwing the coconuts because all they had to do was drop it in because it was 3 feet away.
Yeah, it seems like it was definitely a bad managerial decision. Should have called in somebody else from the bullpen to play that role. Yes. And then some of my friends also asked me, like, can she not tag out? And I think for a lot of these challenges, like when you're assigned to a role, like you're stuck in there.
It's good TV to make you suffer. It's good TV to sit there. Well, you only saw the watching for probably a minute.
There was going on forever. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And Jeff, listen, I'm gonna find the lion and Jeff real quick. Did you see that motherfucker? He's out there like, let's go, sorry. He's like yelling at her. And I'm just like, yo, Jeff's gonna pop a gasket real quick.
Hey, Jeff, it's a lot riding on 50. It's a lot riding on 50.
And he definitely does not want. I feel like he definitely does not want to re-vote it off first. That's for sure.
Yeah, you don't want 50 to be a flop either.
No,
you want 50 to have as much energy. If you go back into the beginning when they were on the beach, he said they gave everything. We want to take everything from you, blood, sweat, and tears. They come in. Hey, you either gonna give it or you gonna like, oh man, 50 fiddles it out. Yeah. So 50 got a lot to live up each episode. Don't get me wrong. Now this 3-hour episode was really good. It had about 15 minutes. I was dozed on, but the rest of it, outstanding TV. So Sheree not being able to throw that rope, tell you true, man, it's outstanding TV. I love it.
Yeah, you see Savannah afterwards being like, "Oh, that was one of the that was like the worst thing I've ever seen in Survivor." And I'm like, wow, homegirl did not watch Rome try to put the puzzle together and not put a single piece on.
She didn't watch 41 at all.
She did not watch Jatia struggle, like, the times that she did in the challenges. Like, there's a little bit of recency bias coming from our girl Savannah.
The swimming, I mean, and you never saw Sandra swim and do anything.
There's like, okay, let's ease off Suri a little bit. Like, I know you're going to tribal council because of her, but come on, put some respect on her name.
But of all the information, all the things that we did, that we just spoke about, 90% of them all tried their best. And Suri's one of them tried that.
But there's people who didn't even finish what they did. I mean, this is a deep cut, but in Survivor Guatemala with Steph, there was one challenge where the one tribe finished the entire challenge, and Jamie from, I think he was on Steph's tribe, he couldn't even cut a rope. That was like the first thing in the challenge was like try to cut a rope, and he couldn't cut the rope, and they finished the entire challenge before he could cut a rope. So I don't expect Savannah to have that random challenge from Survivor Guatemala top of mind. But Suri finished her job. They got to the puzzle. They were, they weren't really that close in the puzzle, but they got to the final stage. She finished her job. There have definitely been way worse performances and challenges.
Now, hold on. But what's crazy is, so when Kyle ran up there and he came down, I knew he tore his Achilles because you could hear it. You could hear he tore his Achilles, and he was like, "No, I'm good." And he did. I was like, I saw Kyle. I was in New York for the challenge premiere for Sydney for my season. She was on the challenge. Kyle was in a boot, and I was like, "Hey, man, what happened?" He said, "Oh man, I got my Achilles worked on." I didn't think and put the two together.
That's like low-key a spoiler.
Yeah, I didn't put the two together at the time that he just came back off of filming Survivor 50. I was like, I knew he got hurt. I just didn't know where he got hurt in the show. I didn't realize it was that close because I'm like, well, he's back. He's over here. So, and I talked to him. He's like, I tore my Achilles. I was like, man. So when he did it, I was like, man, well, maybe it wasn't that because they continue to play. And he was like, oh, he was limping around. Yeah. So I hate it for Kyle's, man. Kyle's a great guy, man. I would have loved to see him play in 50.
Yeah, we'll definitely get more to Kyle after this, but
I hope so.
I really hope so. Yeah. So we we see the whole challenge come through. Green wins first. Pink wins second, and the Suri, even though she did ultimately get there, and they got up the rope pretty quick. You had really good people on the puzzle, and it was ultimately too much to catch up to. Although I was surprised at how quick they bounced back from the Kyle thing in the moment for the challenge, because in the press release for the episode, they talked about like an injury that was happening. So the whole time I was kind of bracing myself, like, oh man, it's got to be pretty bad if they mention it in the press release, and watching it, it was pretty rough, and he's hobbling around, and I don't know. Like I said, I've seen firsthand like an Achilles tear, and it is not something you want to mess around with.
He did. I mean, you can't. When I tore mine, I didn't get I still went like a week and a half before I got anything done to it. You can still hop around, but when that test he did on the thing, I said, oh, his shit is gone.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And it's and I'm with Bruce, man. I know we all want to play, especially when you get to Fiji, you want to compete. And if it's something that you can wrap up, because you see people with bandages on and we get scraped, man, and all kind of stuff. But as long as I can still play, I'm like Kyle, wrap it up. If they'd have told Kyle he could wrap it up, he'd have still been out there playing.
For sure. The fight was unquestionable.
So even to kind of go back to just thinking about my situation, my own lived scenario is that had they not said potential brain bleed, I would have sat there and would have been like, "Oh, just give me some Tylenol or something. Give me the Fijian, version of ibuprofen. Like, give me whatever you give me to stop my head from pounding right now."
Yeah,
that's what it would have been, and I would have seen it. As soon as they said that, it's like, "Fuck, nope, bye, gotta go." I appreciate you, but
Hey, did you leave or did you go to Ponderosa?
I left within the hospital.
Then you went to Ponderosa, or you left?
Then I went to Ponderosa. They called. I remember, not to get too much on it, but they called my wife. They let her know what was going on, and then the next morning, after they knew that I was, no brain bleed and like that, they said, "Bruce, you can go home and be with your family if you'd like. Like, you don't have to be here." And I'm like, "No." Like, I said I signed up for this. And barring anything happening to my family, to my wife and my kids, I'm going to stay. So if you're giving me the ability to stay, I'll stay in Ponderosa.
Well, but no, Bruce, because here's the thing about it is people don't know what happens when we get hurt. Yeah. Do we go somewhere or do we go to the hospital? But they have excellent medical staff there for us and access to the Bruce doctors there.
You talking straight up the side of your ass right now. Let me tell you something.
For us, our doctor was there.
I'm gonna tell you, I got in a boat. They took me in. They hit me up. Yeah. Gave me something for the pain. I'm gonna tell you what it is. But they gave me something for the pain. And I felt nothing. And then they got me. Listen to this. They helicopter. I'm sorry. They took the boat to Mana. I took the helicopter to the mainland. And then from the mainland, I got off the helicopter. They put me on like a freight cart, and they wheeled me across the freaking tarmac. I ain't like no stuff a lot. Across the tarmac, through a fence, and then they brought me to like an ambulance. I was sitting there waiting for me, and I remember seeing Caitlin, and I like bawled my eyes out when I saw her. And then they put me in an ambulance at a 2.5-hour ambulance ride around the back end of the island to the freaking hospital. Got in the hospital. They were like roaches the size of a small domesticated cat.
Josh, let's move on.
I'm on that note, I'm gonna put us to a quick ad break, and then we'll come back and talk about Tribal Council after that. Stay tuned for a message from our friends over at Bracketology.
Welcome to Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. If you haven't heard of us, we run fantasy football and bracket style games for some of your favorite reality TV shows, Survivor included. Here's a quick tutorial on how you can play for free or play to win potentially some cash prizes. Our free-to-play season-long leagues operate just like fantasy football. You're going to want to play Bracketology with friends. You can create a league, make it public or private, or join one of our many partner public leagues. We even have a fantasy football-specific style game called the Advanced Game. You draft a team of contestants each week. Depending on what they do and say during the episode, based on a predetermined list of rules, is how your fantasy team earns points. We have 2 weekly elimination-style games, Confidence Pool and Week to Week. In Week to Week, you're just dropping a contestant from your lineup that you think is going to get eliminated. In Confidence Pool, you rank how confident you are that each castaway will survive elimination at Tribal Council. The more confident you are, the higher the points that you'll ascribe to them. If you think they're going to go home, drag them to the bottom of your lineup. Our last free-to-play style game is a first impression bracket. Watch the first few episodes of the season, make your picks of who you think will get eliminated at each tribal all the way down to the winner. If you just want to play for fun, for free, our free-to-play games are for you. But there are other ways you can just play for fun social play in our new daily prediction pools. Each week, we'll have a few different contests that you can enter with one of our 2 currencies. Coins or bucks. Coins are just for fun social play. You can climb our social coins leaderboard and see where you rank against other reality TV superfans. Or you can enter a pool with bucks. Once won from our pool contests are redeemable for real cash prizes. The more questions you answer correctly, the higher you'll be on the pool leaderboard and the bigger the payout that'll hit your Bracketology wallet. Shout out to the Survivor Now crew. They've been supporting us from the beginning of our Survivor fantasy game journey. Download the Bracketology app for free in the App Store and create those fantasy leagues before the premiere of Survivor Season 50. Thank you, Survivor Now, and thank you everyone for participating.
Hey, who was in your Bracketology thing, Bruce? Was it Kyle?
He's also.
Well, I mean, you pick people week by week, and then you have, I think you have 2 weeks. So before the third episode is when you need to lock in your first impression. So how you think the whole season's going to go, which is nice because they give you like a little bit of breathing room to figure out, like, I don't know, where everybody is, the alliances fall and all that. And so your winner pick's not going to be first boot, but.
Oh, Josh, before we get to the tribal, are we about to get tribal council? Before we get to tribal council, there was
like the build up to tribal council. But yeah, what's up?
There was a exchange between Aubrey and Genevieve.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. That was very, very, very cold.
I'm thinking, like, I looked at that and I was just like, okay, so that is Superman talking to Batman. Like, Superman is like, I got all sorts of powers. You ain't got shit but toys. I don't trust you because your toys could potentially make me, have kryptonite in them and make me, not have my powers. And then Batman's like, I don't trust you because I know that you can just laser me in the face and I'm going. So I got to keep you at a short leash. I don't trust you, but I do respect you, but I don't trust you. So that's what my takeaway is in regards to these two.
It felt like our first villain exchange.
There was definitely some very like dark, like ominous undertones to that whole thing that I feel like
we should have music to it.
Yes. And the respect was clear. I think that, Aubrey was very, very clear saying like, yeah, no, Genevieve is like a lethal, like smart, dangerous player who's capable of a whole lot. And she, Aubrey sees like, oh, the best of me is maybe even like outdone by Genevieve. So I definitely am wary of her. Don't trust her. I
think Aubrey did her homework. I think Aubrey
She for sure did.
Every selectee should have done. Because I know Stephanie says, I don't know Tiffany. Because if we go back around to the finding of the Billy-itis boomerang.
Yes.
And I was like, if you were selected for 50, you knew you was one of the ones going to be selected for 50. And once you found out who the whole cast was, I'd have been like, let me study.
Oh, they for sure did. Like Steph for sure did, but I think that maybe it's just not like some better than others, like just from the years of experience and everything. Yeah, and like the newer people or all that. But
I've never met Aubrey.
Yeah, I bet something that was really interesting in the pre-show is that Aubrey said about Genevieve. I think it was Aubrey who said this about Genevieve, that Genevieve looks like someone who could like commit a murder and get away with it because she's just so sly and smart, which I think I heard that as a compliment. And talking about like her abilities as a game player, but then watching them like kind of like size each other up on the tribe, I'm like, oh, this should be fun. This should be really fun to watch this play out. And Abraham, you also mentioned the Billie Eilish boomerang idol, and I don't know about you guys, but when they first mentioned that in the preview for the season, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? Like, I didn't vote for this. Like, these celebrity appearances, but the actual twist itself, I think, is kind of interesting. That you can give an idol away and hope that it kind of comes back to you when they got voted off. I think that's interesting. What do you guys think?
Yeah. It's interesting, but it's also they're going on the hopes of people being as dumb as the people on season 45, 46, and 47. Like it's more 46 because they just everybody and their mother left with an idol in their pocket. But they're going off of that, and it's kind of like, I don't think, it was given to Ozzy, excuse me, and I think that because Ozzy never played with one before. So Ozzy's going to be like, what can I do to he's going to be consciously thinking about it. And he actually said it. He said in his mind, he's like, I got to keep my wits about me, during this game. So I think he's one to be able to say, okay, I feel that I'm kind of losing a little something. What am I going to do to get that back? He's going to get something to eat, or he's going to, kind of collaborate his mind a little bit with other people. So I think that the Billie Eilish idol at this point in time, at this level, do it in a new season with new players, not with the returnees. I think with returnees, it's just that's now a wasted, idol.
I looked at episode 2 of Australian Survivor, and they had a twist where one part of the idol was on one beach. They had to get it to the other person on the other beach.
Yeah, this is far from the first time we've seen like, you find an idol or an advantage and but it's not for you. You have to give it to somebody else. Like we've seen different versions of this like plenty of times in the show's history before.
Without saying Billie Eilish, I would have still enjoyed the twist because now you're.
Huh? Yeah. Having the celebrity cameos is a little,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't need all tacky, that, but and I didn't like that you just gave it to Ozzy. It just showed up in his bag. It's like, how did it just show up in his bag? It didn't leave. It left so much out that it's just like you just gave somebody an idol.
Well, for the thing for Ozzy is he doesn't know that like it was maybe like secretly kind of given to him with a bounty that like she's kind of hoping that he doesn't play it, so it comes back.
Yeah, if he goes home with it,
way less information than Genevieve did.
But do you think that he got the same parchment that Genevieve had? It looked like
no. He just said you had gotten somebody gave you an idol, and there's 2 rules. You can only play for yourself.
Oh, that's right. It was different.
You can't give it away.
Last 5 or last 6?
Final 5. Yeah. So another thing that's noteworthy about this cast, I'm like looking at the whole list. Ozzy, Tiffany, Aubrey, and Q all have gotten voted off holding an idol in their pocket before. So it's interesting that they chose to give it to someone.
Well, that's why Genevieve chose him. She said, "Hey, I want somebody that probably is going to get voted off with an idol in their pocket." So
Ozzy was the second person ever to get voted off with an idol in their pocket.
Well, once bitten, twice shy. So I don't think he's going to do it again.
Yeah,
I think Sheree is going to be Ozzy's gateway to the merge. I think that his relationship with Coach, he sees that that's a fickle relationship, that he can't trust Coach. Because if you go back and look, like here's the thing about it is, the one thing I do like about 50 in this first 3-hour episode, it makes you want to go back and look at the luggage. Well, what did Coach and what happened between Coach and Ozzy back then? Now you want to go back and look at a previous episode to see what transpired at Tribal Council. That's back when they was mean in Tribal Council. When they didn't care, they was ruthless. When Ponderosa was the setup. So it's like, okay, let me go back and look. And I like the way they kind of just threw it in there as like Coach. So these relationships from back in the day, we got Kobe. She played with Stephanie. I don't really remember how they played together. So now I want to go back and look at that. So I remember Mike White, but I really don't. Kristen, I remember him being he's a rocket science or something. I remember him playing in his season. I think they did a great job of making you want to go back and look. And that's not the same thing for the new era, because I do want to go back and say, if you haven't seen Q play, you probably want to look at Q or Kyle or Camilla. Yeah. Camilla was funny. She said these hips don't fit up under this stand thing. So
yes. So we see here, you're getting into the dynamics over on the Orange Tribe with Suri and Ozzy. Unexpectedly, for me at least, like being random, like ride or die number ones. Ozzy's like, I'm gonna go at this with Suri, to the point that Joe is threatened by it because he's bringing in the baggage of like getting duped by a duo in his prior season. But immediately it seems like on the outs are Suri, Ozzy, and Jenna, and then it's all the new. I mean, well, Christian and Rick aren't new era, but they're like almost new era, given they played in 37 and 38. Like all the newer players were the ones that were kind of deciding the direction of how this was going to go. I don't know about you guys, but when Emily threw out like, "Oh, should we vote off Ozzy?" when instead of Suri, instead of Jenna, that kind of got my ears perking up, because I thought that would be a really big swing for the opening Tribal Council, but was not meant to be.
I think Kristen is the voice of reason for that tribe. I think he's the voice of reason. And Joe's really response was, Camilla and Kyle gave me a wedgie on national TV. So he felt some kind of way about that. But I think Joe said, Christian said, hey, why take such a big swing right now versus let's get out somebody that we may not know how they're going to act as we get further into the game. It just made sense. It's the first vote out. You don't have to just say, hey, let's take Sheree out. They know Sheree is a valuable player. And then Joe was hesitant because of Ozzy, thinking Ozzy and Sheree had something going on. Joe, you wasn't that perceptive about Camilla and Kyle, so I'm gonna give you credit for now at least looking. And then Sheree like, well, what did I do? I wasn't even looking at you. So I like that energy.
Yes.
The smoke.
Yeah, we have Tori here in the chat saying she was devastated by the tribal council outcome. I was too, because really excited to see Jenna play for the first time in so long. But yeah, I mean, when she, like we talked about towards the beginning, when she came out guns blazing against Sari, it was like, oh man, this is not gonna end well for you here, my friend. And it wasn't even like Sari that did her in. Obviously, Sari and Ozzy were the votes on her, but it was kind of everybody else that was like, "Oh, Jenna's coming in like real high." I don't know how I feel about this. Like, we're gonna have to like play around this. When who knows? Maybe if she had decided to go with the flow a little bit more, it could have turned out differently for her.
Well, the only thing that I'm going to defend Jenna at this point in time, because you're looking at Sari's, the way that she performed, right? And what ultimately left them to be well behind in the challenge and the puzzle and getting up the ramp. And they got up the ramp really quick. They did do that. But the problem that you run into at this point in time is that if she failed them there, what other reason is there to get her out? Like she's the lovable, she's the mom, she's the woman that she said it again today. 20 years ago, I got off the couch. We've all heard that already. So that there are some people that are like, that are sitting there like, heard that, and that's why you're the darling and why everybody loves you. Like, what is it going to take for them to vote her off?
Yeah,
like, is it going to be like just skittish to vote her off all the way through? Like, and I'm all for it. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, I want to see her go as far as humanly possible. But what is that trigger point that's going to get her or get people to say, yeah, it's time to vote Sari off? Like, and because she's not going to be good for my game. How is she good for anybody's game at this point in time? Because she's so beloved. Like, when a merge happens and she's still there, everybody's going to flock to her.
Yeah, but even for the very first vote, I wouldn't have done Sari when we already got Savannah saying she won, and that's one of my picks. That, hey, I just won $1 million, and you gotta remember now, Jenna was like, she had to get some blood on her hands to win $1 million. So to me, Jenna she was the one that you couldn't tell what direction she was gonna go in next, and Christian was like, hey, look, I don't know what direction next. To me, it was too early to point the finger at somebody, not to vote somebody out, but to point the finger at somebody to vote out. Because if you go back to where Christian,
you're not at this point in time. You're not. Look, you have someone to point the finger at.
You got because of the challenge. But when you now go back to when they was on the log on the beach, Joe, Christian, what's my man, the radio, the news guy, and he was like, hey, let's get Devin. They said, hey, let's get a consensus of who we want to vote out, and nobody said anybody's name.
Because it's too early.
Yeah, nobody wants to be that person.
I just said it was too early.
Yeah,
no one wanted to be that person to throw the name out there, but it's almost like you can have a general consensus and sit there and say, okay,
they couldn't get that.
The easiest person to be able to vote off at this point in time is Sari, because you remember we talked about this a million times. All someone has to do is sneeze too many times at this early in the game. Bye, you got to go. You know what I mean? But now it's like, you're the reason why we're here.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get that monkey knuckle, whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah, monkey fist, I think you said. Like, what is the name of that?
But here's the thing about it is, who was the worst of two? Sari not being able to finish the challenge in enough time to get you up there to compete to win, or the one that once Sari was gone, we don't know what she's gonna try to target next.
Yeah.
In that early part of the game, you want some calmness. You want a little peace in the house. You don't want somebody to be like, oh, got Sari out. Oh, we're going for Ozzy next. Now we're gonna be, and even Savannah said, if we take Ozzy out, we're weakening in challenges. We just started the game. This is the first episode. You're gonna weaken the game.
But now, to contradict, to get a little pushback on what you're saying right now.
Not a little pushback. It was a lot of pushback.
So now you're gonna vote Jenna off, who is going to be more competitive in challenges.
Depends what the challenge is.
I mean, she's like she's pretty strong. Yeah,
anything and you know, God, you know, and I go back to it a million times. Love Cirie like I do, but any physical challenge, I would take Jenna over Cirie. I would take a little bit of crazy over Cirie when it comes to that at any point in time. Like it's okay, or dominance or whatever. Like, you know, pushing an agenda, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. I would rather take that than lose at a challenge. Because if you have more of that, you're not losing at challenges, and you're going to be you get closer and closer and closer to the merge, or tribe swap, or whatever have you. So I think that the selection today was the incorrect one. It was incorrect. I think they, the region, and not only because of the way that she performed at the challenge, because of her threat level it is so high, and people will say it if you ask them. You had a conversation with Cirie. How did she make you feel?
Cirie is nice as all get out.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
Nice when I first met her, I was like, man, she's real nice. And here's the thing about it is, even if Ozzy voted for Jenna, Cirie voted for Jenna, and everybody else has their own reason why they voted for Jenna. So they didn't feel like Cirie was a bigger threat. Now, that won't be seen until later on if she is that bigger threat, because now you lose again. You got to get to voting. But Savannah didn't get any type of, you know what? Let's look at Savannah where D, they was like, hey, let's get D out. We lose, we getting D. She already won $1 million. We're getting D out. Kyle didn't get anything about him winning. So it all depends on every tribe is different. Every group is different.
Yeah.
So if you took D and put D in, if you swapped her in Savannah, guess what? They would have talked about D.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because they know her resume. They don't know Savannah's resume. They just know she won.
Well, Jenna said she had to get some blood on her hand. So Jenna did say that.
Yeah.
Jenna said she had to get blood on her hand in order to win Survivor. So she already made her mind already made up of what Savannah was as a player. She might not know how she played, but she knew she had to play a certain way.
This is a good final word here. That Christian's point about not having someone come back angry and making a narrative seems to have won the day. That if you, with Jenna, it's a unanimous vote. Everyone's happy. There's no like huge friction. Cirie and Ozzy don't know how close it was to maybe being them, and they get to kind of control the narrative. And Christian talked about that in his pre-show interviews about how Survivor is narrative warfare, and being able to control that is really big. And it really sucks that Jenna was the one who had that coming. I mean, again, it's not like
hey, look, Josh, did you catch that exit?
What?
When she got voted out?
Oh yeah. She was not. Yeah, she definitely.
Ozzy tried to go in for that hug.
She's not one to take any of that sort of thing lightly, which I appreciate about her. You know, I think that sort of energy is refreshing in this day and age. But yeah, Jenna, man, I was so excited to hear that she was coming back for this season. And even though it did not end as we hoped, I think it was really cool and fun to watch her come and, show us what she's got all these years later. I think the thing that we love about her in Survivor All-Stars is, it's kind of what bit her in the butt this time, which, can't be super surprised that it happened this way.
She said it right. She's like first in, first out.
Yep.
Yeah. Even in her, but I enjoy that. You know what I said when she got voted out and she was leaving and she didn't want to hug nobody? Man, I'm a little tired of that rah happy-go-lucky. Hey, let's
oh yeah, yeah. You should. If I came back for the first time in 20 years, I was voted off first, I'd be pissed. I wouldn't want to, like give any of them a hug or handshake or whatever. Like not immediately. I'd eventually get there, like when the game's all over. But immediately, like absolutely not.
And with Grace, like if you look back to what Sage said to Shannon,
last season,
that was that much respect. But one of the things that Jenna did do is that, Jeff snuffed her torch and she turned and, good luck, guys. Yeah. And then she walked away. Like that right there, that's Grace.
Then she had the interview, she was like
I hope y'all all lose.
Yeah, I hope they lose. Like, y'all kiss my entire ass.
I think that might have just been because you were there at the torch snatching ceremony, but she said like, hey, I love the old school Survivor where you just say, man, y'all can kick rocks. I'm out of here.
Well, shout out to Jenna. It was great to have her back, even just for one episode.
Yeah.
And shout out to Ollie losing one of his draft picks with Jenna. And also, yeah, once again, Bruce, sorry that you lost one of your draft picks in Kyle. I know we talked about him a good amount earlier on, but any final words on Kyle and his journey ending here?
I mean, it's so hard to leave the game due to injury. I didn't leave. Bruce can speak to it more, but it's not that story you was telling before, but you want to play. When you get there and you start competing, you want to play. No matter if you're tired, no matter if you haven't had anything to eat, you want to play. And I could see where Kyle was feeling like, hey, is there any way I can still play? And that's something you don't know until you're in that type of situation. And that, because we all got hurt in some way or some form or fashion. Because that cargo net, that cargo net will get you. You bouncing off the cargo net, you hitting the ground. I mean, there's so many ways you can get hurt. And you say, well, you know what? I'm just going to gut it through. And I'm just going to keep playing. So I wish Kyle the best, man. Like I said, I saw him. I know he's healed because I saw him again in New York for the finale of last season. So he's back up on his feet for people that haven't seen him. I know he's been in all the promo stuff, but he's good to go.
Yeah, he seems to be doing well. He and his wife are expecting their first kid, so kudos to them. Happy for them. Seems to be doing great in life, and sucks to end a season that way, especially a big returning season like season 50.
Yeah, he's I would be shocked if he doesn't come back again within the next 3 seasons. I'd be shocked because the speech that he gave, to the group, was something that would be echoed by anybody that has played this game that gets medevaced out. Ask anyone that has. I believe there's now how many, Josh? You can back this up.
Medevaced.
16 of us.
I would take your word for it, but that does sounds roughly in that ballpark.
So ask any of us if we come back and play again. The answer is yes. Hell yes. Ask any of the other 730 some odd people, or 40 some odd people. Ask them if they'd come back and play, and the answer would be yes. 90% of them would say yes. So it's like to see that, for myself personally, Jeff stopped everything, and he hasn't really, when that happens, I sit on my couch and I'm just like, and I relive my moment, and it's a shared experience that I have with someone aside from being on the show that we love. It's a shared experience that you don't want to have. I don't want to have a shared experience like this with anybody, being removed from the game due to an injury. But it's going to happen because it's real. This is real. People think that we go out there and we stay in hotels or whatever. Hopefully that's being debunked by people actually listening and paying attention to what's being said to them, that it's not scripted, this, that, and the other. It's not. It's someone's life, and it adds on to their livelihood. Yes, he won $1 million after taxes, whatever it is, but he's trying to do it again because he wants to be able to provide for his family. He wants to be able to be number one in regards to this show that we love. And unfortunately, his reign, whatever you want to call it, has come to an end. His ability to be on the show this time around has come to an end. I would sign a petition in a hot minute to have him come back and play again.
But even with yours, Bruce, as soon as you got injured, because I don't think I talked to you when you started playing, I might have sent you a message or something, but as soon as you got injured, Jeff was like, hey, Bruce is going to be back. We knew as soon as it happened that you were coming back. You may not have known, or he may not have conveyed it to you, but he put it out there in the world. He's like, oh, Bruce will be back. So now you should have waited another season.
Right?
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes with Kyle. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who would be happy to see him again and give him a shot and let it play out. More.
You could have went to 47 or 40 or 40 of Bruce. Would you come back 45?
Dude, I should have waited until 53. And you know what? And there is something, and this is going to be gnawing at me for a hot minute, and I want to be able to bring this up. They did this magazine for season 50 of Survivor, right? And they highlighted every season, which is great. And I will tell you this: AI sucks. AI is an absolute dreadful piece of shit. Like it because you can utilize it for a bunch of different things. Let it run numbers for you, but don't let it run articles for you. Okay. I saw my little cutout in regards to this, and one of the things that stand out is his and Uncle Bruce did not last long this time either, meaning the second time that I played. Yes, I did.
To the jury.
I made it to the jury, beyond the jury. I made it to 8th place in this game. This is what AI puts out, and this is what they posted and they put, and some editor put in and said that it was okay to kind of drag me through the mud a little bit more in regards to my experience on Survivor. Please understand, people, when you go out and play this game, I need people to understand that you put your blood, sweat, and tears out there literally to play this game. But when you do things to be able to keep your tribe from going to tribal council, you do things to provide for your tribe, you do things that make them laugh and have fun, you should be rewarded for that. And it seems unfortunate. And I actually kind of feel for Rizzo at this point in time because he was a focal point in 49. He comes out in the first second that he's out there, he's kind of being poked at by Colby. And that's editing.
Yeah, that's not because editing can show what they want to show, but that storyline has carried over from one season to the next. Now, Kobe is the X factor because he said it, but they could just easily said, don't forget now, they film us 24/7. They could have just as easily plugged something else in there, but you got to remember, CBS is a business.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, it is getting kind of late, so thank you to those of you who have stuck with us this whole time.
Appreciate you.
Yes, we appreciate you. Make sure to keep following along. All of our socials are down here at the bottom of the screen, like at Survivor Now Podcast, at Survivor Now Pod. Like our page, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Feel free to hang out anytime. We're here every week after the episode, as well as we have a few more shows that happen. We got Survivor Social, we got the Stock Watch, we got something for you. Those all happen over the next couple days, and they will also be here every single week. And they have a lot of fun guests. We all have a lot of fun guests lined up for this season already. I'm sure more will come. So be sure to follow along. There's a whole lot yet to unfold in this season. We're so excited to see how it plays out. And we are excited to have you guys join us for the whole journey. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Abraham. Thank you all for being here tonight. And we will see you next time.